What's up, fellas? So I'm out here doing a little swapping with some shifter handles. These two are stock shifters. There is a little difference between the years. I'm not sure what years these came out of. This one is a stock one. I just filled in the holes here with a welder and re-drilled it because normally they got this big old rubber bushing in there to give it a softer feel. These are two Hurst shifters. This one's been modified a little bit, got heated up and bent on the back. And then this is what I had in the red car. I'm gonna kind of stand straight up. So what I want to do is kind of get it heated up and bend it a little bit here toward the back and a little bit toward me at the top. This one is going to go in a trooper car once I get it welded together and bent and all that stuff. And then on the trooper car is what I have. I had on the red car. I have one for the trooper car. I just haven't put it in yet, obviously. And then this is a Hurst shifter. Does the same thing. It's not quite as long as the long one, but the reason that the shift lever for the long shifter is because it is so tall. When it's on there, it's actually taller than a aftermarket shifter with a stock handle on it. So there's plenty of options you can have. Like I said, even modifying a stock one is good if you can, if you got a welder, and you can modify the shifter itself, the shifter base, because on the older shifters, these serrations you see on the right side were actually on the left side on the older ones, and then this was swapped around. So if you have one of them old ones, you can still take these 4 screws out here, pull the shift lever straight up and turn it around and put it back down in there, and you'll have the serrations will go from this side over to this side. So it does, and then you can put the shifter on this side if you wanted to. It does move the shifter over toward you about that much further. Just something to try if you want to, if you're so inclined. You know, having the shifter like fall, like if you sit in the seat or the seat where you got it when you race, and you just like close your eyes and put your hand down where you want wherever your hand kind of falls, that's a natural position for you. So try to get your shift handle where it's going to be like when you put your hand down, you're grabbing a hold of the shifter. I think it works for me. Like I said, I found I needed to modify this even a little bit to make it more comfortable for me. I had this shifter in the LTD, but I just stuck an old Hurst shifter. They were about a ½ inch shorter than these two. So I put an old Hurst shift lever in there, and it too had been modified a little bit. So it feels comfortable just driving around. It's a little bit of a reach to it, but when I'm at the track, I'm going to have the seat farther forward anyway, so I'd say it's perfect then. So whenever I get to that point where I can run the LTD with a 302 in it, then I'll be set. So that's what I'm doing now. And then, oh yeah, this thing. These are my panhandle twisted wedges. I had put them at the machine shop, I think, like in November, and I forgot about them. So I had a milled 30 thousandths. I had a real valve job done with the back cut on the valve, so I don't have to get my drill press and a little flapper wheel out on it. Oh yeah, Pirate texted me last night. His heads, I guess I had tapped this hole from the factory. This hole is just the right size. You can drill it, or you don't have to drill it. All you got to do is run a 1/8 inch pipe tap into it, and then you can put a pipe plug in it, 1/8 inch. It'll go right in. It's the right size. You don't have to drill. You don't have to do anything. Of course, it's probably a good idea to fill this hole back in here with some of that putty that I mentioned a couple of videos back. I've yet to do that. I'm going to do that on these, just haven't had it yet. And as far as what these are going to be on, I got ideas in mind. I'm just waiting to see how some things shake out. And then there will be more to come on that. Oh, also, The way to distinguish from the first gen twisted wedge heads to the later ones is the older, or the newer ones are going to have this little ridge right here. The older ones don't have this. It's all, the whole forward face of the intake side of the head is flat. Newer ones have this thing on here. I think it's to give a little better seal for the valve cover. So, easy way to distinguish. I think that's it over here. And this is what I'm currently working on with the Trooper car. Yes, I'm doing body work. I hate it, but it's just something I wanted to do. I had a couple of dents in here. I think the hood flew up on somebody along the road at some point, one of the previous owners. So I had some dents in here, so I took some of these little screws that I got at Lowe's, little 1/4" 20. That's flat on the top. Then you just tack weld it down here, and then you use this little gizmo called a dent puller, finest Harbor Freight has to offer. And you just put this on here. Like, of course, this is great to try with one hand, but you get the idea. That's welded on there, and you pop it up, and you pull that out. And once you got it where you want it, where you're done, then you can take your grinder and cut these back off and smooth it out, and you're done. It's going to take a little bit of Bondo, which kind of counterproductive to me. Taking, you know, I didn't get crazy cutting stuff out of here, but it did make it a little bit lighter. I probably got 70 or 80 pounds out of it so far. And we're still, I thought I was done taking it apart, but I'm not, because this morning I took the trim off the back, around the back window. I found all kinds of garbage in there. So I'm going to get the vacuum cleaner, clean all this stuff out, and then I put something in there to make sure it never rusts again. And the same around here, make sure this is all good and sealed up so I don't get leaks. And so it doesn't rust. And then this back here, you can tell they had stuff in the trunk when they were banging around, because it looks like a relief map of the Rocky Mountains. So I got work to do, obviously, which I should have never started this debacle, but we're on to it, so we're going to finish it. So that's where I'm at with this. Just thought I'd give you a heads up what's going on with this thing. It's not being abandoned. I was working on the red car for a couple of nights the last weeks before I went to the track, so this was in the just waiting for me, but now I'm back on it. And oh yeah, here's my shifter. This is what I had, oops, on the Trooper car. Looks like a modified stock one. I'll have to compare that to the one I was going to put on here. Of course, like I said, I'll need one for the Capri and maybe another project. Just what I need. Of course, the Dugan wagon will need one too, and Mustang, and then Brandon's car. So all lots of stuff to do. Never enough time and money to do it all. So anyway, I'll wrap this up. Just wanted to give you guys an idea what's going on with this and what we're doing. All right, appreciate y'all. Later. I wanted to add all the rest of the guys, except for Kevin, went to the track today, and Kyle. So it's Eric went up there with the LTD, Rod with McNuggles, and then Pirate is taking Super Secret up there. I did a little chip for Rod. It shouldn't have been any different than the one that was in Krusty. I think I took a little bit of fuel out of it, or added a little bit of fuel, I think, from what he had before. I have to look, but it should be no different. It should pick up there, because he took the added the K-member and that spacer. I don't know what it's going to do with the that intake. Yeah, he had mentioned wanting to make that bigger to see if I could make it into a 90, a real 90. And then Super Secret, the only thing Pirate's done with that, got rid of the stock P heads and put those ported E7s on that were done by some guy at some racing school. They flowed pretty good. It had aftermarket valves in it and stuff, so it does help. And then Eric's got a different clutch in his car, so hopefully, knock on wood, he just doesn't miss any shifts today. So I think that's about it. I was a little disappointed in the Ghost, because we put those aluminum or he put those aluminum heads on it, and it didn't really pick up much. He got his best ever 60 foot in mile an hour, but I was anticipating more. He ran he was running 110 gas in it, and he hasn't changed the timing. He was trying it with runs without the what you call it, the plug for timing, so it's just like a straight 22 degrees or whatever. And I think it needs to follow the timing curve in it. We'll see. Maybe you can try that next time. And also with the speed density, he increased the airflow, but he hasn't increased the fuel demand. So it's like, it's not like mass air measures the air coming into the engine, so it knows it's got to have this much fuel. And the speed density is just like, it's got this RPM at this throttle position at this temperature, this is what the fuel it's going to get. And I think that can be tweaked some. And also he's got 1 5/8 headers on it. I thought he had 1 3/4, so I did make the exhaust ports a little wider. So he's got a set of 1 3/4 headers to put on, and I sold him the Ecufabs that I had on the LTD. So trying to get him to put those on. I guess I got an offer to go up there and help him put a K member on and put those headers on. Maybe I can get him to do that, because the car runs, so he's kind of don't want to mess with it right now. So that's the thing. I think it'll pick up significantly with those better headers on it. And we'll see what results they get today. Of course, you know, the McNuggles should work pretty good. He's got some other heads to put on it once he's tired of messing with these P heads. So we'll see how it all works out. There's always things to work on with these things. All right, appreciate y'all. Later.